You don't have to wait until you reach financial independence to start enjoying your life. You can do that much earlier and start living a life that you love and that's true to you. Welcome to Freedom Before FIRE. Using FIRE and life design techniques, we help you create freedom on your way to FIRE instead of waiting until you're retired to do the things that light you up. I'm your host Greg, a FIRE movement and life design enthusiast. If you're itching to get freedom now, then let's do this. Good morning, afternoon or evening, whatever time it is where you're at right now, I hope all is well with you. So when it comes to lifestyle design or designing a life you love, there's always one main ingredient and it's like a golden thread that sort of nicely knits everything together. It's something I've noticed in my many years of personal development and also working with my life design workshop students. And what is that ingredient, you might ask? It's 2 words. Knowing yourself. Yep, it's nothing fancy or complicated, just simply knowing yourself. Knowing who you really are deep down. If you want to enjoy your life now and not wait until you get to retirement, this is the one thing that you need to have nailed down. And also just as important when you are retired. So why is this so important? If you think about all of the most important decisions you've made in your life, and all the small day-to-day ones too, it's likely they all link back to knowing yourself. Like understanding what's really important to you, what interests you, what does a great day look like to you, what you're good at, what your personality traits are, who you like being around, what hobbies light you up, what food you love eating. You see, once you know what makes you tick, making lifestyle decisions just become easier. And the more clarity you have on who you are, the better the decisions you'll make. If you listen to the previous mini-series, which were basically the last 4 episodes, I talk about key decisions that impact your life and influence how your life is shaped. We tackled questions like choosing a career, choosing a life partner, choosing where to live, and choosing where to spend your time. And guess what? They all start with knowing what you really want and what really matters to you. If you don't have a clear idea of who you are and what you like, it would be hard to establish if you were successful with your choices or not. Okay, let's take a look at an example. So with a big decision like choosing your career, you need to know what your skills are, what you're good at, what people you like being around, what industries interest you, where do you like to work. If you don't know what some of these things are, or if you don't think about these in advance, you might end up not liking your job, say 6 to 8 months down the line. Even if you can't find a job that ticks all of your boxes right now, at least you know what to aim at as you progress in the future, and you can tick those boxes along the way. Knowing your core values is another important aspect of knowing yourself. Because let's say you do find a career or business that ticks a lot of your boxes, like maybe you're using your natural skills and talents, you're working with a great team, but one of your core values is sustainability or being eco-friendly, and the company you're at starts doing some dodgy things that are bad for the environment, that just wouldn't work for you. Let's look at a smaller example. Say you're trying to figure out what to do outside of work, you're trying to do things that light you up. If you have a clear idea of what those are, it'd be easy to figure out what to do, when to do it, and where. I know it sounds obvious, but how many times do you hear people say, I'm really bored right now, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. As I get older, I found that I get less bored. I suppose it's because I have a better idea of what I love to do and what brings me joy and happiness. You might have had a hobby you enjoyed as a kid because maybe you were really good at it, maybe you were in flow state when you were doing it, but over the years, life got in the way. Maybe that hobby was painting, dancing, singing, camping, writing fiction stories, baking red velvet cakes. If you clearly know the things that bring you joy, you can say yes to them, and then you can say no to the things that don't bring you joy. And that brings me on to my next point. And it's an important point I want to share with you, and it's about honouring who you are, i.e. knowing who you really are and sticking with it. If there's things you don't like doing or you don't enjoy, you don't need to do them. You can switch it up to do the things that you do like doing. I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes we need to have the courage to change. If you know you don't like the type of projects you're doing at work, have the courage to ask to change it. Now, if you know you don't like your job, see if it's something you can change. If you're around people that have a bad influence on you, change your environment. If you're running a business that's giving you more stress than fulfillment, maybe it might be time to change some things around or just stop it altogether. Back in my 20s, living in UK, I had some friends who really liked going to the pub every weekend to drink. It was their thing, one way they can relax. Now, I enjoyed going out with them, but just not the drinking loads of alcohol all the time part. That really wasn't my thing. So what I would do is arrange dinners, barbecues and game nights at my place, which were way more my thing, and it was always a blast. Now, I didn't really care what they thought of me. If they were my friends, they'd be fine with it. Fortunately, they were. Another thing I'd done that was a bit against the grain was I bought an old used car in my late 20s when others around me had much nicer new cars, but I didn't really care for fancy cars. My car was old, but it was well looked after. It was a small car, so it didn't consume much gas, and it just wasn't the flashiest. But I knew what I wanted, I knew my goals, and that was fine with me. In lifestyle design, everyone has their own version of what an awesome life looks like to them. There's no one standard template. Everyone's unique. That way, there's no comparing. Just remember, when making life design decisions, you're always correct if it's in line with who you are. Alright, I'll leave you with that one. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you need more help, you can check out our free guides and services on our website, freedombeforephi.com. If you have a burning question or just want to chat, don't hesitate to drop me an email at greg@freedombeforephi.com. If you found the show useful and want to be notified of future episodes, you can click follow on Spotify, Apple, or the app you're currently using right now. If you think the episode will help a friend or a colleague, feel free to share it with them. And lastly, if you learned just one good thing that will help you in your journey and you want to help us out, please do leave a 5-star rating on your podcast player app. That would help us out loads. On the next episode, I'll be talking about how to get to know yourself more. Alright, so I'll catch you then. And as always, practice gratitude, live life by your design, and do things that make you smile. You got this.